This. Okay, so my name is Kendra Pennington, and I'm the SC for Ed area rep for Horry County, and I will be hosting this Q&A. So let's see. So if other viewers come on, they will use this chat box to ask questions. And perfect. All right, so it says we're going to start by giving each candidate 2 to 3 minutes to explain their platform. So let's do. All right, so since it's just 2 of you, I'll let you guys choose who goes first.
Well, I don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
I just meant you go ahead if you want to, or I can it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Well, I definitely don't mind stepping out there, so I'll go ahead and start. Okay, so let me know when you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I am Adriene Atkinson, candidate for South Carolina House of Representatives for District 25. And I am a longtime resident of District 25. My family has lived in the area for 40 plus years. We've seen the ebbs and flows of the district. We've seen their progress, regress, think about progressing, and then just kind of sort of not knowing which way we were going with that. We've seen schools built in our area, schools closed. We've seen a lot of different changes. But for my particular platform, I desire economic improvement for District 25. There are a lot of areas in our district that have been pretty much neglected. There's some parts that are doing pretty good, but a good majority of our district is not doing so well. We have a lot of food deserts. We have a lot of empty buildings, low businesses, and we have to do a lot of business outside of the district. Education-wise, we do have some Title I schools in our district, but we are looking to make sure that the students in District 25 don't fall into that pipeline to prison. That whole trajectory. We want to make sure that, and we know that by economic improvement and making sure that we're taking care of women and families, we have a large number of domestic violence and human trafficking issues. So all of those things, low economic improvement, high numbers of domestic violence and human trafficking, we know lead to poor performance in schools. When we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's really hard for you to feel like you're going to be the absolute best that you possibly can at the top of that hierarchy if you're not getting the basic food, shelter, just safety. And when you're going to school, being able to really focus on what's happened if we're not sure if we're going to have enough to eat today. And so I feel like economic improvement is going to be the basis for a lot of progression in District 25.
Absolutely. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Great. Excellent. I think you're going to find that me and Adrienne really mesh very well. We have a lot of the same priorities in our campaigns, and we have a lot of the same similarities and thoughts of how to change things in District 25. My name is Darath Mackie, and I am running for the South Carolina House of Representatives. First, I want to just thank you both for this opportunity. I want to thank Adrienne for running. We were discussing earlier, what a time to be in politics. And so I just wanted to thank her for that. I need to also say thank you to Representative Ashley Trantham, who is allowing me to use her office this evening for this. So thank you very much. And I want to thank SC for Education for hosting this candidate interview on an extremely important topic that impacts District 25 and all of South Carolina significantly. As some of you may be aware, and I know, like I said, me and Adrienne agree that District 25 has been grossly neglected on so many levels for a very long time. Our issues are ample, to say the least. Education falls at the very top of that list for me. We also have a collapsing infrastructure that is development prohibitive. We have elevated crime statistics in comparison to some of the other districts. Within those statistics, we have some of the highest domestic violence, human trafficking, and child neglect and sexual abuse cases in the state. Improving education through student and teacher advocacy is one of my highest priorities if elected. I believe education is the foundation of any civilized society. And we need to make Greenville, South Carolina, as a whole, attractive to quality teachers. And we need to do that through competitive pay, reduction of these class sizes, giving them ample preparation time, and opening a mutual communication with their leadership. But most importantly, it's giving control back to our teachers and giving the teacher a voice. And in the same breath, we need to make our public schools as attractive as possible to parents and guardians who are looking for education options for their children. I believe in District 25. I believe in the revival of it, and that working together as a community, we can make District 25 business friendly again while rejuvenating some of our neighborhoods and attaining our desired quality of life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so I have 4 questions, and we'll just go in the same order I'll ask, and then you guys can answer, and then we'll just move on to the next one. So our first question is, what is your opinion of the state of public education in South Carolina today?
Wow, the state of public education, considering that we are at the top of the not so great list and at the bottom of the good list. I have some grave concerns. I do believe it's a cliche, the children are our future. But I also believe that those very people who we trust to take care of our children and educate them, and we don't take care of them, there is no way that they're going to be able to take care of educating our children. I think that we don't get our teachers do not get the support that we need. I think that, of course, we all love our students, but I truly believe in any atmosphere, in any business, any profit. If you take care of your employees, they will take care of your business and your product and whatever it is that you're doing. If you take care of making sure that teachers have adequate teacher salaries, that they have adequate time to prepare lessons, if they have the adequate support and confidence placed in them, I don't think there's a teacher that goes into that field not wanting to really teach and encourage and educate our youth. Give them the tools that they need to do their jobs. We will see that whole trickle down effect in our students. We will see us come up in numbers as far as where we are in this country. But I think that right now that state is not great. But I do know firsthand, after having 4 children go through the public school system in South Carolina, that there are some great teachers there. I cannot even fathom how they do what they do, but I'm grateful for them. But I do not think that they get the support that they need. And I think that once we focus on those teachers and making sure that they get the resources, the respect, and the compensation that they need, we will see changes all across the board. It will be a domino effect in our education system.
Great.
Excellent. And I do agree with a lot of that. I think that, South Carolina being 43rd in the nation says a lot. I think that speaks volumes to our constituents. I've had the privilege of talking with many of the Board of Trustees over the last several weeks, and I want to especially thank Lisa Wells. She was amazing and gave a great deal of her time to talking with me and showing me things from a different perspective. I've talked to a lot of teachers, talked to a lot of parents, and I am blessed enough to be a children's church teacher to our bus ministry children and our Bessie Road Baptist, where I go. And I see things through the children's eyes because I hear what they have to say about their school environment. I've talked to their parents. I've talked to the Board of Education. And one common theme that I'm hearing is that the teachers don't have control in their classrooms because they don't feel like they have a voice. And that is one of the most important things that I believe we need to tackle in South Carolina is giving the teacher back control in her classroom, his or her classroom. Children feel a lot of times, is what they tell us, that they're distracted because of other children in the classroom misbehaving. And they tell, but the teachers can't do anything. They have no control. You talk to the parent and they're confused as to, why is this child, who's 8 or 9 years old reading at this level and my child's in a public school and they can't. That's frustration. Well, when they're surrounded by children, other children that are acting out or too large of classroom sizes or the child or that really takes away from the teacher and what she's trying to accomplish. So I think that is where we start, is really engaging them. Now, I think there are programs in the state of South Carolina that are working beautifully. This year or last year and this year, the legislation has made it a goal to attack the issues of education. And they have implemented a lot of legislation coming through that is going to do a lot of really great things. Some of the items that they're going to be playing on is the public education partners, especially here in Greenville County. It's a simple mission to lead their community and acting collectively to support, strengthen, and advocate for public education and student achievements in Greenville County. That is really an important message to give, is that they're trying to tell you that public education is fundamental to any society, and they want to support that. Another thing that is being done that I think is extremely beneficial is the On Track Greenville. I love this program. They're identifying as early as 6th grade that the children have indicators, and they found that 75% chance of dropping out in the absence of those indicators. And I think it's fantastic that they're tracking those and they're engaging those students, and they're trying to see where they're headed, and they want to guide them. And I think that that's very important. So we do have a lot of great programs out there, and I think there's a lot more coming.
So, all right, the next question is, if elected, what would be the first step that you would take to improve public education?
I'll say again, for me, public education is going to start with taking care of our teachers. And by ensuring that we're getting the top quality teachers, recruiting, and making sure that their salary is commensurate with the awesome job that they are doing is first and foremost. At the end of the day, having a passion for something is one thing. Being able to sustain yourself without being burnt out is a whole nother thing. I think that we want to make sure that we are attracting teachers instead of seeing the number of teachers in our school districts decline. It's imperative that we make sure that we give them the utmost support. So making sure that we get their salaries where they need to be, I think, is the first and foremost start to ensuring that we can retain and attract teachers to make sure that our children get the best education possible.
Absolutely. And I'll go back to, even in my initial statement, when I said how we need to make Greenville County and South Carolina as a whole attractive to get those quality teachers to come here, and do that through the competitive pay, the reduction of class sizes, ample preparation time, and again, giving them their voice back, giving the teacher back some control. And I don't see a reason why that can't all be done together. That is something that I feel like if it's advocated for, and you have a voice in Columbia that stands with you, that those are things very easily achieved.
Absolutely. The third question is, if elected, what would you do to address the funding of public education?
Well, great question. So we have all of the surplus funding in the state of South Carolina. It absolutely behooves me. When we're thinking of things, when we're thinking of, let's send everybody $50. And we're thinking of all of those things that we can do instead of continue to support our teachers, and we give them just a little bit of a raise and feel like, okay, that's good, go on. No. That's the scraps and making us pretend like you got us, this is a sale and you should, be good with it. No, we need to make sure that our teachers are where they need to be with that. And that's definitely going to be where I start. Absolutely. It starts with pay. There are so many things that I agree with Darath that, there's so many things that can be packaged together, but absolutely the pay is going to be the biggest thing to get everything going for me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And I would have to simply agree with a lot of that sentiment that the pay is absolutely where we begin to revitalize these teachers' confidence in the districts. You're going to see also, as far as for funding, the budget does have ample money in it right now. And one of the other items is the South Carolina for Education has made a request to change some committees to be more of a financial oversight committee. And I believe that alone would significantly help the way that these funds are distributed. So we need to continue to advocate for what the teachers are asking us to do for them. And that will help form our budget, is what are they asking us to do?
And then the final question is, in your opinion, what would a successful accountability system for education in South Carolina look like?
I think for me, just like anything, I do believe in checks and balances, and I do think that all of us have to be held accountable. I certainly expect that when I get to the State House as a South Carolina State House representative for District 25, I expect my constituents to hold me responsible and accountable, and so on and so forth. by the same token, I think that those people who are going to have oversight over teachers need to understand how that education system works. I also know that there can be some times where, we may think that, well, those who are in the system may not have an objective viewpoint of that. But I think that any oversight definitely needs to consist of educators who understand the process, educators and those who are even in higher education positions, administrators, school district officials, those people who can adequately relate or just honestly be able to relate to what's going on with that. But I do believe that there has to be some level of checks and balances within every system to make sure that we're all performing at our utmost.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I learned most about talking with members of the school board and parents and teachers is that, it needs to be a checks and balances, but the people involved in that need to be collaborative. It needs to be the teachers. It needs to be members of the South Carolina Board of Education. It needs to be a parents involved. Even at higher levels, maybe children, or at least having subcommittees involving the kids and having a say in what that looks like. But it needs to be collaborative on state and local levels, because ultimately the decisions that we're going to make in Columbia are going to affect the entire state and not just our district. So I feel it's important that it's a collaborative effort throughout the state and on many, many different levels. I think for me, it always goes back to trust but verify. And the more kids you have in the room, the better that information is going to be.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much. And thank you for being patient with me. Good Lord.
You.
This
Thank
whole
you for having me.
Of course,
Yeah.
this whole technology thing, you think I'd be used to it by now. We're in what, week 8? No, it's something happens every day, I promise.
Yes, absolutely.
Right before we got on, my whole screen turned sideways. I can't.
That's an interesting one.
Not had that happen before.
I know, everything is so, it's been crazy. All right, let me stop. Let me figure out how to stop recording this. And stop recording.